The men's basketball team just tipped off against Illinois in this year's Gavitt tip-off games.
And the Marquette women's basketball makes noise around the country.
Thank you for joining us. Golden Eagle Sports Report starts right now.
Slam! Done! Oh, that's a poster!
Live from the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio at Marquette University, this is Golden Eagle Sports Report.
Marquette gets the rebound, and the champions have gone down!
Good evening, everyone. I'm Phoebe Gable, joined by Grace Cady. The men's basketball team is on the road and just tipped off against the number 23 ranked Illinois Fighting Illini.
Assistant sports producer London Davis joins us from the Studio 7 to preview the game. London?
Tip-off is underway. After a strong start to the season, the Golden Eagles seem to have all the momentum coming off of an explosive game. Against Rider, the Golden Eagles did an amazing job scoring the ball, shooting 60% from the field in the first half, as well as 60% from beyond the arc. In the second half, however, there were some hiccups on the defensive end where they got lazy and complacent. Tonight, in order to win, they have to clean up their defense down the stretch, keep up the ball movement, and keep the second chance buckets to a minimum. With star guard Tyler Kolek still to be determined to play after he rolled his ankle in the second half, it will be interesting to see where lineups Coach Smart assemble. Sean Jones and Chase Ross might be asked to do a little bit more to carry Marquette to the victory. Throughout the duration of the first two games of the season, Coach Smart has been running a 10-man rotation, implementing a few of the freshmen that have been a core part of these rotations. However, in an interview after the game against Rider, Smart said that it is a very rare that a freshman will be able to throw them in the game, and he is who you need them to be. From Oso down to Cam, many players have all needed time to develop into the players that we see today. Smart says against a team like Illinois, the freshmen are going to have to decide, can they go in the game and not hurt the team, but help them? And if they can do that, he'll play them. But if not, he won't. It should be an interesting one in campaign tonight. Back to you, Phoebe and Grace in the studio.
Thanks for your insight, London. Leading up to tonight's game, the now number 4 ranked Marquette men's basketball team faces off against the Rider Broncos.
The game started off as the David Joplin show. The junior forward started the game off right on both ends, grabbing a steal and adding 5-point early.
Responding to Marquette's run, senior forward Tariq Ingraham scarfs down a rebound and scores plus the foul.
The game remains close until 7 minutes left to go in the first half as the Golden Eagles go on a 9-0 run to take a 35-21-point lead.
There was no turning back as Shaka Smart's squad shows why they are the top 5 team in the nation going into halftime, up 17.
And the Marquette masterclass continues in the second half as they dismantle the Broncos by a score of 95-67. Only time will tell if this team can continue to pull off these impressive blowout victories. The men come into tonight's game against Illinois with a little more incentive.
After going 2-0 on the week, the Golden Eagles find themselves ranked 4 in the latest AP poll.
That's right, they move up 1 spot from the previous week.
The honors don't just stop there, as junior guard Cam Jones is the Big East Player of the Week after 2 20-point games over the weekend.
Jones averaged 21 points in 2 games and was the game's leading scorer in each contest. Jones picks up right where he left off with a game-high 24 points and 4 assists against Rider. He credits his success to the relationships he fostered with the guys around him.
I just think it comes from just the genuine relationships we have. We say relationships, but it doesn't mean anything if you don't have them. You feel what I'm saying? Words don't really mean anything. So, we speak those relationships because we do have them. You know what I'm saying? And that translates to the court. I'm gonna hit Chase when he's open because I love him. You feel what I'm saying? It's not any selfish act.
Oso Ighodaro gets another double-double, contributing 13 points and 11 rebounds, while David Joplin adds 11 points respectively. Marquette finishes the night with 11 players getting to the scorer's column, shooting 55% from the field.
I thought our starting group did a great job beginning the game with very good focus and connectivity. Stevie was terrific. Even though he got in foul trouble, he really sparked us to start the game. And then I really thought everyone came in.
Coming up, did the women's basketball team actually upset Illinois? Find out after the break.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Have you ever seen somebody treated unfairly because of the color of their skin?
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism and what do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
What are you looking for?
Welcome back to GESR. Once again, I'm Phoebe Gable.
And I'm Grace Cady. The Marquette women's basketball team is faced with a tall task when number 23 ranked Illinois comes to the Al.
Just a few minutes in, everyone inside the Al realized a shootout was taking place.
Illinois has control of the lead up until midway through the second quarter, when the Golden Eagles go on a run and snatch it away from the Illini.
At the half, the Golden Eagles find themselves up 37-34.
As the third quarter begins, neither team holstered their weapon, and the battle for the dub continued.
The game started getting intense in the fourth quarter when two household names rise to the occasion.
Senior guard Jordan King and senior forward Liza Carlin show up big time with clutch bucket after clutch bucket, giving the Golden Eagles the edge.
Carlin draws a huge charge and scores quickly while King hits the clutch free throws to put away the Illini and send them back home. Marquette comes away with the upset 71-67. Four Marquette players finished the game with double figures, including Liza Carlin, Jordan King, Rose Nkomo, and Franny Hottinger. After the big win on Saturday, Liza Carlin is named Big East Player of the Week. Carlin receives this honor after scoring a game-high 22 points on 11 of 16 shooting. Carlin also recorded a double-double in the game opener versus UT Martin, scoring 10 points and grabbing 10 boards. This is Carlin's first Player of the Week honor of her career.
And after a big win, we would like to welcome in beat reporter Ben Hansen to the show. Thanks for coming in, Ben.
Of course, thanks for having me.
The Golden Eagles looked good on Saturday against a tough Illinois team. What went right for Duffy's squad?
I think what they've been doing and what they've been doing this season so far is having offensive equality around all the players. I mean, so Jordan King and Chloe Murata were on top last year. They had a lot of the points, but now you have 4 double-figure scores against Illinois and 6 against UT Martin. And of course, Liza Carlin earning Big East Player of the Week with 22 on Saturday. So you can see that the team is kind of working as a cohesive unit, and they don't have just 2 players that can score.
Yeah, definitely. And although Jordan King hit the free throws to seal the game, Liza Carlin had a game-high 22 points. Would you say she was your MVP of the game?
Of course, I would have to say she was the MVP. Like I said, Big East Player of the Week, averaging 16 points per game and 7 rebounds per game, while also getting 22 and 4 on Saturday. I mean, Chloe Murata graduated last year, and Liza has kind of fallen into that position of the front court and is kind of filling the void, and she's been doing a great job of it this season so far, and also again in the game against Illinois.
And although it has only been 2 games, out of all the newcomers, who has impressed you the most?
I would say definitely first-year Skylar Forbes. She has a natural scoring ability and complements Carlin and Hodinger really well together. And I think we're going to see a lot of learning from her and learning from those 2 people this season. I mean, she's second on the team in blocks per game at 1.5. And of course, in the game against Illinois, she had the outrageous block of the person trying to go into the paint for the layup right there. And so she was shooting 75% from the free throw line, and she could do better on boards. She is the tallest on the team at 6'3", but she's having a very impressive season so far.
Yeah, those are some pretty good numbers. After beating Illinois, Marquette received 4 votes in the latest AP poll. Do you think the Golden Eagles deserve to be ranked?
You know, I think if they're able to go through this next week and get a win in these 2 games that they're playing, I think they definitely deserve a spot at the AP poll or a chance at the AP poll. So, I mean, if they play connected like they have been this season so far, I think they have a really good chance. And the win over Illinois really helps their resume. I mean, last year in the Bahamas, they had a really good chance to prove themselves against really good teams, and they don't have that good of a strength of schedule in non-conference this year, so they aren't really able to prove themselves as much. But if they definitely win these 2 games in the next week, I think they have a really good chance.
Right. Marquette has 2 games this week, one on the road against IUPUI and one at home versus St. Peter's. What would you like to see out of the Golden Eagles in order for them to stay undefeated?
I think they need to continue playing connected. I think connected is the big word for this team. If they find a way to limit turnovers too, they've had 40 in the first 2 games, and their opponents have had 43, so it's not a big issue. But if they can turn that down, they can definitely get more points and more scoring possibilities for all the people that are able to score on the team. And so going off of that, I think if they spread the offensive wealth, because they have averaging 5 players scoring in double digits this season so far. So I think if they're able to continue that offensive equality, they're going to do great.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ben. Now, 2 former teammates and friends have been reunited this season on the court. Assistant sports producer Adrian Fraga brings us more now.
Liza Carlin is no stranger to Marquette basketball. The senior forward has cemented herself as a household name on the women's basketball team. But newcomer, Franny Hodinger, is, well, a newcomer. But Liza and Franny are no strangers to each other. Both grew up playing basketball in Minnesota and played on the same club team as high schoolers. And although it's been years, the duo is looking forward to being on the court once again this season.
I mean, it's awesome. I'm so excited. I still look at Franny sometimes and I can't believe she's here. It's like a full circle moment for me almost. Started in high school, played with Franny, was thinking about going to high school just to play with Franny. And then we come back and have this opportunity where I get to play, Franny's last year with her, and it's surreal.
Yeah, same for me. I think it's just been really fun to get back on the court together. We've stayed in touch through it all these years, but to actually be together playing basketball is awesome, and getting that chemistry back.
The relationship and chemistry the two have is evident on the court. Head coach Macon Duffy expects that chemistry to continue to flourish as the season progresses.
I think it's been cool to watch Liza and Franny too just develop their relationship differently on the court. They're constantly talking to each other, they have each other's back, and even how they interact with our two freshmen, Hallie and Skylar, have been incredible. So just really looking forward to seeing how their games will continue to progress, and really grateful that Franny's a Golden Eagle for her last year.
2 games so far into the season, and both players have already played a big role. Both were crucial to Marquette's upset over Illinois with a combined 33 points. The duo will continue to dominate together on the court like they did back then. I'm Adrian Fraga, Marquette Wire Sports.
And after a busy week for Marquette athletics, we would like to give out our weekly awards.
First up, getting their second straight Team of the Week award, it's the Marquette women's basketball team bringing home the hardware.
The Golden Eagles upset number 23 Illinois 71-67 on Saturday at the Al McGuire Center.
Yeah, this is the first ranked win since beating number 4 UConn last season and the 5th in the Megan Duffy era.
Senior guard Jordan King hit clutch 3 throws in the final seconds to seal the win.
Next up, junior outside hitter Jenna Reitzma brings home MVP of the week.
Reitzma is our MVP after totaling 27 kills in 2 games for Marquette, with 18 versus Villanova.
Reitzma also recorded 10 service aces in 2 games with a career-high 7 aces versus Georgetown.
Reitzma was also named to the Big East Honor Roll this week.
We stay with volleyball as Molly Brezowitz is our newcomer of the week.
The first-year defensive specialist played in all 7 sets over the weekend, recording 4 total service aces and 5 digs in 2 games. After a busy weekend, 3 Marquette teams are back in action. Here's what to look for.
The women's basketball team has 2 games this week, split between away and at the Al.
First up, the Golden Eagles travel to Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis tomorrow night to take on the Jaguars at 6 p.m.
Then the women are back at home on Sunday, hosting St. Peter's at 1 p.m.
The volleyball team is back at home this weekend after a 2-road game trip.
The Golden Eagles host St. John's on Friday night at 7 p.m. and then welcome in Seton Hall the following night at 6 p.m. for their final regular season match.
The men's basketball team kicks off the Maui Invitational on Monday as they play UCLA in Hawaii at 10 p.m. Central Time.
This is the first of 3 games for the men in Maui.
Coming up in professional sports, did Jim Harbaugh get a fair suspension?
Plus, who's taking home the MLB MVP award?
We dive in after the break.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
And welcome back to Studio 7 as we discuss the latest news in professional sports. Joining me on the panel tonight is London Davis and Ben Hansen. Let's get started. The Michigan football team has been in the forefront of a new NCAA college football scandal. After being exposed for sign stealing and illegal game tapping, the Big Ten suspended head coach Jim Harbaugh for 3 games. Harbaugh is still allowed to coach during the week, but not on the sidelines. Michigan is trying to appeal the suspension and it has even threatened to leave the Big Ten. Do you think this suspension was fair?
I mean, I've never really had any patience for cheaters, and I think even though he's a respected coach and leading this respected program that's undefeated right now, I think they shouldn't have any mercy because who knows what their record could be if they hadn't cheated, you know? And I think with cheating in sports, there's no reason for it. So I'm glad they made this move.
I agree. I think the team is good enough to play on their own. What about you, London?
I agree with both of you all. Ben, like you said, as much of a respected coach that he is, I personally feel like the punishment is not enough because who knows what the record would have been had they not cheated and tampered, and being suspended for 3 games when there's only 2 games left in the season, but still being allowed to coach throughout the week. I still feel like that's just not enough. I feel like the team needs to actually feel the punishment a lot more than they are right now.
Well, I'm glad we all agree on that. The MLB announced the AL and NL Rookie of the Year awards yesterday, with the Cy Young and MVP being announced later this week. Who's your pick to win each award?
Well, for the NL MVP, I have Mookie Betts, the outfielder for the Dodgers. I mean, he's batting a .307 average. He has 39 home runs and 107 RBI, near identical stats that helped the Dodgers win over 100 games. And without him, the Dodgers would not be as good as they are today. So, I mean, based on the 65 games that he played at second base and 14 at shortstop, I mean, listen, the stats speak for themselves.
I do think Betts is a valuable player, but I'm going to have to go with Acuna Jr. on this one. Okay. I mean, he is a 12-1 analyst picks on ESPN favoring him, and he also had 41 home runs, 73 steals, and he even surpassed the 40-40 club, and he created the 40-70 club on this season. So I think his numbers are flashy enough to where he has a really good chance of getting this year.
Those are 2 good picks. What about the next?
I mean, listen, in the AL, I have Shohei Sakuna Ohtani. If you know, you know. Come on. But, I mean, listen, he has a .304 batting average and 44 home runs. And let's not forget, he's one of the, if not the best pitcher in the league right now. And, again, like I said before, he's a heck of a hitter. So you cannot count him out in this race at all, no matter what. He's in here to stay.
Yeah. Well, I think Corey Seager personally has a very good chance at getting it. He ranks first among qualified shortstops in batting average at .331 and doubles at 42. And he leads all shortstops in home runs, RBIs, on base percentage, and slugging percentage. So all of those stats really show how great of a player he is and how much he deserves this award at the end of the day, because putting up these numbers in only seeing 109 contests throughout the season, I think is absolutely astounding.
It is. Listen, I still have Shohei, though. You can't go wrong with him.
All right, what about the Cy Young?
Cy Young, man. You know, I don't necessarily have any input on that.
Yeah, well, I think Garrett Cole is a really strong option for this year. I think he finished in the top 5 of Cy Young voting 5 times. And honestly, I think it's this veteran's time to win. He ranks near the top of the league in wins, ERA, strikeouts, and WHIP. And he leads innings pitched, which shows consistency and stamina throughout the season. I mean, a lot of pitchers in the MLB are not able to go for that long and be that consistent throughout the entire year. So I think Garrett Cole is an amazing option for choosing the MVP.
All right, all really solid picks. After starting the season 0-3, the Houston Rockets have won 6 straight and now sit in the 4th place in the Western Conference. Are the Rockets team in the NBA? I mean, I've been hearing a lot of talk about that.
I mean, the Rockets are good, but I'm going to have to go with the Timberwolves on this one. I mean, 6 straight wins, and in that they had wins over the Nuggets, the Celtics, and the Warriors, all playoff caliber teams, and they still were able to get this 6-win streak. Of course, now they're the number 2 in the power rankings, and the Rockets are number 8. Last time I checked, that's 6 behind. That's a pretty far ways behind. And I think Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards are one of the most dynamic duos in the NBA right now. I mean, Anthony Edwards has 28.4 points per game, while Rudy Gobert is getting 12.8 rebounds per game. I mean, it's Kobe and Shaq-esque what they're doing right now.
Okay. That's ridiculous. That a comparison of that magnitude is ridiculous. They are very good, but honestly, I have to go with the Rockets. The Rockets are a very, very young team, a very young core team, and Alperen Sengun is averaging 19 points, along with Jalen Green's 19 points as well, and Fred VanVleet is averaging 17, and Dylan Brooks, like LeBron said, is getting his money's worth with the 13 points, along with the impact that he has with the Rockets. I mean, you take a guy who on the Grizzlies was known as a team crusher for his own team. I feel like the impact that he has with the Rockets right now is very immense, and it is showing alongside these wins. And I recently seen that the Rockets also beat the Nuggets, which are the former champions as well. But I mean, I think the biggest impact that the Rockets have right now is not just the players, because the players are so young. It's their coach, Ime Udoka. I mean, listen, we've seen what he could do with the Boston Celtics, and I knew going into the offseason that this was the greatest pickup for the Rockets because they lacked an actual good coach. They lacked a coach with good leadership. Last year, all I seen was ISO ball. ISO ball this, Kevin Porter Jr. on the wing, and what you see right now is good, cohesive basketball, and that's what the Rockets needed, and that's why, in my opinion, pre to the playoffs, I have the Rockets as my dark horse to be in the playoffs because of how they are playing now and because of the impact that Ime has on them. So I do have the Rockets as the hottest team.
So we're talking about hottest teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the Rockets are just starting up. I think the Timberwolves are an absolute fire right now. I think they're just absolutely amazing. And with the Rockets, they were ranked really low in the power rankings, and then all of a sudden they popped up really, really high. So this is often with teams, this is just a fluke for these games, or they just have a period where they're playing really well. Consistency is going to be key for the rest of the NBA season. And I think the Timberwolves have that right now because they were able to get into that number 2 spot by playing consistent ball and earning that position, while the Rockets just get this position off fluke games right now.
I'm not saying that the Rockets are Miami, but when you talk about teams that are always low in the power rankings, Miami is one of those teams. Yet we see them constantly make the playoffs and have made the finals 3 times in the last 4 years. So, I mean, you cannot count the Rockets out now, especially because of what they're doing, even regardless of the power rankings.
I'm going to have to go with London on this one. I'm a huge Rockets fan and Jalen Green fan. Thanks for the great discussion. We are sadly out of time. We will be taking a quick break next week for Thanksgiving, but join us again on November 28th for all our coverage on Marquette sports and more. I'm Phoebe Gable. Good night, Marquette.